Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our this week's Accelerator 15 on-air session, where we showcase two of our best-performing startups from our this year's Accelerator batch. To give everybody here on this live stream a little bit of background, so we are AngelHack. We are world's largest developer ecosystem. We feature over 50,000 developers globally, and we host hackathons, developing competitions in over 52 countries all around the world. And the grand prize from all of these hackathons is winning a slot in our Accelerator, which is an early-stage startup accelerator dedicated to hackathon projects. And we had a great amount of success so far. We created over $28 million of value in the last 1.5 years. Our graduates frequently go to Y Combinator, 500 Startups, Techstars, and so on and so forth. And we are right now prepping for our global demo day on October 29th, where we invite over 200 investors to San Francisco, and we fly our 22 top-performing teams to San Francisco to showcase to our broad audience of investors. So it's going to be a fun one, and this time around we want to showcase two of our teams, one from Montreal, BizCollab, and our other team from San Francisco, SocialCapital. This time around, both of the teams are sponsored from Capital One, which is one of our very close partners that we're working with, and they dedicated both resources and capital to the teams, so they're very much ahead of the curve, and we're in week 10 out of our 12-week program. Right now, all the startups are prepping for launch or customer acquisition. Both of those tools that we want to showcase today are mostly B2B facing, so it's going to be a very interesting conversation. And without any further ado, I'd like to hand it off to BizCollab from Montreal. If you guys could just intro yourself and give us a little background of what you've guys been up to, what kind of product you've been developing.
Yeah, definitely. So we are a team of 4 students. One of us is based in Silicon Valley, and the other 3 are here in McGill. And what we are basically working on is what we call BizCollab. And we have an iOS app right now. So what our basic goal is to connect small businesses. For we felt like small businesses was always at a disadvantage when they had to do something out of their expertise that they had. So for example, if there was a technical business and they had to do taxation, they might have a lot of trouble in doing taxes. So we thought, like, why not connect different small businesses together and allow them to work as synergies so that they can provide competition against the bigger players in the market itself. So just for example, if there's a restaurant and there's another small business that has the logistics for cars, then we can connect these 2 businesses where the one that has the logistics for cars can act as the delivery service of the restaurant. So basically, what we are trying to do is we are trying to promote collaboration among small businesses so that they can nurture and grow globally.
That's an amazing idea. So essentially, it's a double-sided marketplace for small, medium-sized businesses to connect and interact with each other. Is that right?
Yeah.
Perfect. How did you guys come up with this idea? That sounds very specific and very tailored to the SMB market. Would you guys mind to just give us a little background of what the specific team of the hackathon was that where you guys won?
So we participated in the San Francisco Small Biz Dev Hackathon, which was organized by Capital One and AngelHack, and it was 3 other students from Make School, which was an iOS academy that I was joining during that time, and all of us decided to go for the hackathon. So at the start of the hackathon, there were some owners of small businesses who came and gave us talks. So there were 4 of them, and they all discussed like what are the main problems that small businesses face when they come into the market itself. And one common problem for all these small businesses was that not all of them, like not a single small business can do everything. So their problem was that they can't do taxation, finances, while doing their own actual product as well. So that's where we got the inspiration from, where we thought, like, why not allow small businesses to concentrate on what they're actually doing, what their actual product is, and outsourcing what their other responsibilities, which aren't really connected to their product, outsourcing that to other small businesses and giving them clients in this way.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Arun. We will dive into your guys' product in a little bit, but before that, I would like to hand it over to our friends from SocialCapital from San Francisco. Do you guys mind just giving us a little elevator pitch and explain us what kind of solution you guys been developing over the last 12 weeks?
Hello, so we're Social Capital. My name is Tope Alabi. This is Obed Eugene. We're building Social Capital. Social Capital is a tool to help hiring managers select the best candidate by analyzing their social and online behavior. So you put in a resume, applicant's resume, and we tell you the best person.
Wow, that's awesome. It's a huge market that you guys are tackling, and actually a huge problem. I think there's so much money spent in HR, and especially in for startups, it's very important to find the right people to execute, just because that's probably going to decide whether you're failing or not. How did you guys come up with this idea?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we've actually been working on thinking about how do we leverage social data to figure out some insights from that. So Tope and I, we actually met in New York City, and we've been working different things, working on projects together. And we were here in San Francisco, and at the hackathon, we were just brainstorming what are some ways that we can help employers save money and maybe optimize money as well. And one thing that we identified was that one of the biggest investments that employers make is in human capital. So the idea that that's the biggest thing that they invest, whether it's hiring these people, their employees, and actually paying them a salary, and then also maintaining them as well. I think that's one thing that we identified and said, you know what, we want to help employers optimize their human capital. So this was kind of the idea that sparked this.
That's awesome. Can you guys give me a little background of your team and explain why you guys are the right folks to execute on this project? I could imagine that there are probably other people that came up with a similar idea, but why? How do you guys stand out, and why do you guys think that you will be successful in the market?
It's a great question. So Tope and I are both engineers. So it's funny. So I've been working with social data for a few years now, and Tope as well. And we've just been looking at a lot of the social data. We've worked on an application that actually analyzes people's how secure they are online. So how if they're putting out information and if this information is actually secure. And one thing we realize is that there's so much data online, and that for us, one thing there's so much insights that you can find. And Tope, he's been doing a lot of research in terms of trying to figure out how do you actually take data and start to interpret that data.
So when I was in university, I studied under a guy named Oscar Garcia. He's one of the nationally known professors in human-computer interaction. So back then we were studying 3 basic emotions, which is anger, happiness, and sadness. So basically you play a sound, you analyze based on amplitude, pitch, and duration if that sound is happy, sad, or angry, right? So this is just a sort of a different application of that, because now we're taking text and we're saying, well, is this text, what is this text talking about? What is this person interested in? What is this person's personality? Basically it's what we're coming up with. So it's a lot of machine learning, a lot of artificial intelligence, right? But it's a field I've been in since university. Obed has been in the social field for quite a while now. So that's where our expertise comes in. Now, as far as HR goes, we do have a lot of HR advisors and mentors that are helping us a lot with that. Helping to identify what competencies, what's important to HR manager, what do they want to know about an applicant. We also have some people in academia to help us make sure that the computer learning algorithms that we're applying are actually extracting the correct data.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys are taking HR to a whole nother level, which is I think super interesting. And it really looks like you guys have a very complementary skill set to execute on this. Which is actually why you guys, made it that far in our Accelerator program. So I really think that's, it's a super exciting approach on HR, nothing that's ever done before. Cool, thanks guys. Giving it back to BizCollab from Montreal. Could you guys tell us a little bit more about your team and your skill set, and why do you think that you guys are able to execute on this better than anybody else?
So a little background with myself, mostly an Android developer, so currently developing the Android app. The reason why we think we can do this really well is because our team is composed of engineers and people who study business. Mirza, who's not actually with us now, studies economic and finance, and he's able to understand the dynamics of small businesses, I guess in a better way compared to us, and then we complement the technical parts. Arun and I, we built the apps, and Mirza, he somebody who understands the dynamics of the small business market very well. So that's something like that.
Yeah, uh, pretty much Andy like summed it up really well. And other than that, like since we have guidance from Capital One as well, so I feel like getting mentorship from people who have been in the market for a long time and understand the dynamics really well of small businesses and how they actually work. Working with them has been like really helpful for us, and like whatever mistakes we made, like they kind of help us out and like making those mistakes fine and going on.
Right. Yeah. I think being connected to a huge corporate in the fintech world, such as Capital One, who actually has a very big and broad downline of potential customers for you guys, is very helpful. Could you guys tell me a little bit about what are the biggest challenges that you guys have been facing so far with developing this product?
I guess the biggest problem that we have right now is convincing small businesses that it's okay to work with other small businesses in the market, and outsourcing the services to other small businesses who are out there facing the same problem as they are. That's pretty much like the biggest problem that we have. But once we explain them the problem and once we clear out to them that they are at no disadvantage, but it's more like another way of advertising your own services on an other database, that's the only advantage you're getting from BizCollab. Like there's no certain disadvantage you're getting like by signing up for BizCollab.
And obviously, initially, the process of idea development was quite challenging. How do you make sure that we have something that is appealing to small businesses? Because, I mean, will it be a purely barter platform, or is there going to be some money transfer? So the idea development was quite tricky, and also this is another, I guess, challenge that we're currently starting to overcome at the moment.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little insight. To everybody out there who's joining our live stream, feel free to follow us at AngelHack and feel free to tweet any kind of questions, comments, or feedback using the hashtag Accelerator15. And make sure to join us every week, Wednesdays at either 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific time. We will announce that on Twitter for our weekly Accelerator 15 on air sessions where we showcase 2 of the best performing startups that we have sourced from over 52 countries all around the world. That will be flying to Silicon Valley on October 29th for our International Global Demo Day. So again, thank you so much, guys. Team Social Capital, I want to talk to you a little bit about more the actual product. So you guys explained what you guys are doing, but could you probably walk us through a very specific use case? So how do employers actually make use of your solution?
Yeah. So let's say so you have employers that go through the process of doing behavioral interviews, sometimes technical interviews as well. So essentially, when they're going through these processes, they'll take in the resumes. They'll also typically do background checks, right? So they'll do credit checks, sometimes drug tests, and a lot of different things and different assessments. So for us, what we want to do, we're kind of fitting into that sort of realm where a lot of recruiters are currently manually going to people's social media profiles. There's a statistic that says 60% of employers actually check a candidate's social media profile.
It's probably higher.
Yeah, and so that's an indicator that they're actually paying attention to what's going on online, and so for us, what we see ourselves fitting into is that process where once the recruiters or the HR managers receive the resumes and these kind of things, they can actually say, okay, let's do a background check, let's do a credit check, but let's also do a social capital check, right? And actually check to see how they are online and see what type of behavior types are they. And Toll can actually talk about what the insights that we actually take from social data and how that relates to the employers.
I'll talk about that as well, but there are 2 major workflows. One is we can fit in as an API for enterprise employers. So perhaps you have a company like a Capital One, maybe a Walmart, or a large firm, and they're using something like Taleo or PeopleSoft. So we can fit in there using an API. So a company like that can consume our API using that, and they can get the insights on people data that they're looking for using our system, right? So they can find out if a person's a great leader, great customer service, great salesman, etc. The second option that we have is a standalone product. This is for small SMB companies, I think this is more true to what we actually want a competition for. So you can think of, a small technology startup with 10 employees or around that number, right? So we have a standalone product for them where they can just upload a zip file full of resumes. And we'll take the resumes, parse the data, and extract the information that we're looking for. Extract the emails, extract the resume data, and we can then tell you, hey, this person is a great communicator, hey, this person is a great team leader, or hey, this person might be a recluse, right? So maybe you're not looking for that. So as far as what Obed was mentioning, how we actually get the personality insights, there are well-known axioms of philosophy, basically how psychology, of how psychologists sort of group people, right? So it's called OCEAN, O-C-E-A-N. It's openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, neuroticism. I feel like I'm missing one. O-C-E, agreeableness. So these are the five metrics that a psychologist, every time you go into therapy, a psychologist is thinking about this in the back of their mind. What kind of person is this? Are they open? Are they an extrovert? Are they an introvert? Are they agreeable? Are they not? So using linguistic analysis, basically, we're analyzing the way you communicate socially, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, anything you have out there, the way you communicate, using your linguistics and the way you talk about yourself, the way you talk about your family, the way you talk about your work, what adjectives you use to describe those things, we can use that to infer your personality or your behavioral profile. At least that's how you communicate yourself. That's how you present yourself to the world, right? So using those things, you can say, well, this person is an extrovert. This person is risk averse. This person may be neurotic. This person may be an introvert, extrovert, and so forth. And then using those characteristics, you can then say, oh, well, this person is an extrovert, and they don't go with the crowd a lot. Well, they'll be a great leader, right? And so using that, of course, we don't make these things up. We have psychology professors that tell us how to actually use this data, but using our machine learning algorithm, we can actually extract the data from the communication.
Wow, that's huge. I feel like especially once you guys generated a lot of data, you guys could potentially even branch out into other potential business vehicles where you can say, okay, this guy is working very well in this team, and you should switch teams around. So I think there's so many applications once you have this data. So this is why I think your solution in particular is very interesting. Did you guys explore that at all, or are you focusing on HR and hiring solely?
When we go out and we talk to HR managers about our product, they always talk about that because a lot of times, especially the larger companies, they reassemble teams. You might have a team that's working on this product for this quarter, and next quarter they may be working on something else. And you usually want to have various personality types in there. You don't want all extroverts. You don't want all introverts. You don't want all leaders. You know what I mean? So sometimes you want great leaders, great team players. You want to be able to match up the right kind of people, regardless of experience. So HR managers definitely mention that point a lot, definitely.
Oh, I bet. Cool. Well, thank you so much for giving us a very in-depth walkthrough of your product, and I'm very excited to see the responses from people that are actually about to try that out. And I think again, having Capital One backing you guys there is definitely going to give you a lot of credibility and access to a lot of early customers to onboard.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Back to Montreal. Arun, we talked about the challenges that you guys been facing, and I remember when we talked a couple of weeks back, we were trying to explore possible monetization streams and how to actually connect those businesses. Do you guys want to walk us through what you guys have been thinking about earlier and what the status quo is?
So before talking to Capital One, the business the technology hit there, Sergey, our basic plan before that was once you sign up as a business on the app itself, you look at all the other services that are being offered by other businesses. You select a certain service, and that certain service is offered in a certain price range. And once you request the service, then the other business would contact you and do everything likewise, and would offer you the service for the amount of time you ask the service for. So if you ask them to do the taxation for just a particular year, they would just be doing your taxation for that particular year, and the contract ends there and then. But after talking to Sergey, and he said that a barter system might not be the best way to do it, just paying off for services. So what we came up with was how we can monetize certain services, and these services can be paid off against each other. So for example, if there are two businesses that want to connect with each other and both have services that are complementary to the other business, then these two businesses can request an appointment with each other and go and talk over the terms that they want to sign in. And then, like for example, if I'm a web development firm, and I would offer them like some websites and whatever is needed for them to like develop on the web platform. And for example, if they are a financial corporation, then they will offer me with whatever I ask them for finance in return. So you have the option of paying with money, but you also have the option of paying with services. So the reason why we did like service to service was to increase mutual understanding between small businesses, and there is already an existing network of small businesses helping out each other, which is not so obvious. So what we are like aiming to do is like making that network even more stronger and more obvious in the actual world.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, again, I think like there's a huge potential between, in the synergies between small, medium-sized businesses and startups. And I think the way you guys go about it, to having the service to service, but also cash to service approach, to incorporate that both makes perfect sense to me. So can you guys explain what the feedback was initially when you talked to early customers, when you were starting to build out your customer pipeline?
So like for our early customer itself, like most of the companies that actually took a lot of interest were involved in technology, and we didn't have like a really diverse number of companies coming from finance, from other aspects. So the problem at that point was that technological companies already had the expertise of doing whatever they could in the technology expertise, and it was harder to connect them with other companies out there. But what actually happened was that some of these companies did have a pretty strong financial department as well. So since they could offer those services, saying that okay, we are a technology company, but we have like a taxation guy in our company who can do the taxes for you if you don't have one, then like the response we got for service to service was much better than service for cash in that case, because like for example, if I have a technology company that's for like cloud servicing and we do a lot of backend work, but we don't have anyone to do our web development work, then we can ask that other web development firm to do our website and everything. And since we have a pretty strong financial sector in our company itself, then we can offer the financial services to that other web development firm, which doesn't have the required resources.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense to me, and I think like having once you guys engage with Capital One and get access to a number of businesses that you can then sign up on the platform, I think it's pretty much just a no-brainer. I think getting the first couple of customers is probably the biggest challenge so far for you guys, but it seems like you guys are on a great track to overcome this obstacle. So cool! I'm very excited to see how it goes, and I'm can't wait to see you guys pitching in a little over 2 weeks from now. So super exciting. Cool. Back to San Francisco, back to SocialCapital. Let's talk a little bit about the hackathon experience. So again, you guys are in week 10 out of our Accelerator program, but it all started at the hackathon. How did you guys what did you guys do at the hackathon? Did you guys know each other before? It sounds like yes. Did you guys stay overnight? Did you guys stay awake? Did you guys go to sleep? Just explain me of what was going down at the hackathon.
Let's do the whole story.
You guys have a whole story about that. That's awesome.
This is actually my first hackathon. Me and Obed, like you mentioned earlier, we met in New York City. So it really was just two guys hanging out. We were like, oh, we're both new in the city. What do you want to do? There's a hackathon, all right, let's just go. And then once we got there, the competitive juices started flowing, and we wanted to win. So we spent quite a while brainstorming. We didn't stay overnight. We actually ended up in the car arguing with each other about what we do. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We're both coders. It brought some competition to coding, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I'd say like experience during hackathons. I've been to a good amount. But typically hackathons are difficult, because you have 24 hours to build something from an idea into a fully functional product, and then also pitch that idea, right? So it's not easy, but I think we pushed through. We persevered. I think even during that morning, we called each other and said, "Hey, what's the plan? Are we gonna, should we go?" Because it was far. It was far to go to the place, but we said, look, we have something great. Let's so we woke up early that morning and we just started doing some quick design and really just started really working on our pitch. So even on the way to the hackathon, we were just really thinking about what is the best way we can portray our idea and what we're trying to build in an articulate way, right? How do we actually frame this into a pitch? And Toga had a great idea in terms of actually using a use case. He mentioned let's actually put a person, and he gave the person a name, and let's put this person, let's actually bring this person in front of the crowd and show them how this product can benefit this person. So I think for us it was a great experience because we were able to really take an idea and then actually present that into a way where we had a product and able to actually show what we're trying to do. So it was pretty good.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, you guys must have been super stoked when you guys were announced as the winners, right?
It was a roller coaster. I mean, we were great. I mean, I think we felt comfortable coming off the stage because interactions from the judges, they and just the pitch. The pitch actually went pretty good. Tope is a great presenter, and I think the pitch went well. So I think we felt comfortable, but there's still butterflies. I mean, it was so many great companies, so many great pitches. So we were just very grateful. So
we knew we were top 5, but winning was definitely an exciting moment.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet, totally. So once you guys came out of the hackathon, in what kind of state was your minimum viable product at that point?
It was different. It's a lot different now than what it was, at that point. I mean, what we won the hackathon with was a social finder, something that you type in the person's name or email and we can find all their social media. And that worked well, but then we start to think, what can we take this further? What can we do with this information that we're getting? Because we're getting a lot of information. I mean, each individual social media is a ton of information just by itself. So we start to think, what can we do with these things? And that's sort of how we got to this point here.
That's cool, huh? Like advancing the product over time within 10 weeks, and like really being pushed, and trying to actually transition this into a viable business. That must be super exciting. Sometimes I really wish I was on the other side of the table instead of coaching teams how to do it, to actually execute.
It's kind of hard.
So maybe we can switch that one.
We'd love to have you on the
team. maybe next time around. Cool, thanks guys. Back to Montreal. Tell us a little bit. Did you guys go to sleep at the hackathon?
Sorry?
Did you guys sleep at the hackathon, or did you just stay up coding, Rapper, and
yeah, we actually took a break off at 8 o'clock and we went and had bubble tea in San Francisco because we heard that bubble tea in San Francisco is really good. And then we came back and we had dinner, and then we decided to sleep off for 2 hours because we knew that during the time of the pitch, it's really important that you are in your senses. If you just look like a zombie right before the judges, even if you have a good product, it doesn't matter. So I had told all my teammates to go to sleep for at least 2 hours, and we took off breaks. So one team member went to sleep from 12 to 2, and the other one went from 2 to 4, and so on.
Oh wow, that's super smart. So you actually divided the night into different little sections where everybody can go nap for 2 hours. Yeah, I really like that approach. So have you guys been experienced in hackathons? Because that sounds like a strategy that hackathon veterans apply.
Yeah, it was my 6th hackathon when I was attending this, but for my other team members, it was for one of them it was their 2nd hackathon. For the other 2, it was their 1st hackathon. So I was kind of leading them that don't do this at a hackathon and do this at a hackathon.
Yep. There are definitely some do's and don'ts. Well, Well, to give everybody here on our live stream a little bit more info, and they probably want to attend a hackathon in the near future. What are the 3 do's and don'ts at a hackathon, just on top of your head?
Don't sleep that much.
But do sleep.
That's one of them. The other one is like your product is mostly just like, I would say 60% of the actual thing that you're presenting, and your pitch makes up like the other 40% of it. So like make sure that you practice your pitch really well, and you can actually convey the point that what you're trying to do with your product, because I've seen teams making really good stuff there at hackathons, but not being able to convey the exact reason why they like the X factor in their project itself. So it's really important that you have that X factor in your project that can like wow the judges, and like this is like one of the ways you can actually win stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody out there, just very important note here. So both of those teams that we interviewed today are in week 10 out of our 12-week mentorship-driven accelerator program, our AngelHack Accelerator, where we created over $28 million of value in the last 1.5 years. So those guys have been coming very far with both the hackathon and our Accelerator project. So listen to their advice, don't go to sleep, and make sure whenever you attend a hackathon, pitching is at least 40% of the actual outcome. So thanks for sharing that, guys. Back to San Francisco, to SocialCapital. Let's talk a little bit, like after talking about the hackathon itself, and after getting a little intro to your project. How has the Accelerator experience been so far? What did you guys get out of that? How did you like it? And what would you recommend to other teams?
Yeah, I mean it's been great. We've had access to some of the greatest mentors. I mean, for us early on, we've been connected to Capital One. We've been connected with literally people who are very high in the company, and a lot of people, investors, and people who are in the industry. And so it's been great for us. We've gotten a lot of insight in terms of how to actually shape our business, right? So from trying to figure out product market fit, trying to figure out what's the best MVP that we should be focusing on, and really we literally had opportunity to sit down with the HR, HR director of Capital One, and I think that kind of connection for us was very valuable, because we were able to actually see from inside in, from the inside, how they shaped their process. And they had a lot of insight in terms of even looking at social data and even looking at data about candidates. So this has been great. For us, we've been focusing on trying to build this product, and I think, to have come this far so quickly, I think, it's very difficult. But I think being a part of the program was very helpful. And I think even with AngelHack, you guys have had literally helped us with all of the things, different tasks that we should accomplish on a weekly basis, and that's been very helpful. So
it definitely accelerates you.
Yeah.
That rings true.
Yeah.
It sort of pushes you, I think, to your limit as far as being a businessman, being a marketer, a developer, everything. Because everything has to happen fast. You have a limited amount of time. Another thing that me personally, that I experienced throughout this whole situation is that everybody wants to help. Within the Accelerator alone, Milan is always a phone call away, an email away. Everybody is available within the Accelerator program, and not only within AngelHack, but the outside world. When I tell people, hey, I'm in the AngelHack Accelerator, they want to help me. They're like, oh, what are you doing? They're interested in what I'm doing. They want to connect me with people that they know. So it's been a great 10 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for this positive feedback. And, I can just totally agree with you. This whole entrepreneurial landscape and ecosystem, it's really just about collaboration. And I think, we are really at a stage where people really see that competition doesn't matter that much as long as you can create synergies within this ecosystem, help each other out, give each other intros, just, try to push each other to be successful. I think that's what, being an entrepreneur is all about. So it's great that you guys share that spirit. Thanks, guys. Back to Montreal. How has your guys' experience been so far? I remember, I had the chance to meet you guys face to face, and we chatted a little bit about business models and how to tweak it. But aside from that, how did you guys like benefit from the program and from being connected to Capital One?
Well, I mean, being in the Accelerator and being connected with Capital One, I mean, have been great. The initial idea of idea development was, I mean, very important, and the fact that we had help from Capital One in the in that stage was very crucial, because it is as much about the technical side as it is about that the business side. So like I said, that connection with Sergey and the other Capital One people was very significant in terms of helping us develop our product, and also the mentorship from AngelHack, in terms of delivering how to market your product, how to maintain a good PR image, everything. It's been great so far.
And more than that, like even getting the chance to market the product, like having a business model, getting all that exposure at such an early stage was something like which was really helpful for me, because I was always like fascinated about such stuff, about like how the business models actually work, why are they so important to a product, and why can't I just release a product in the market and be successful? So like busting those myths through this program was something like which I realized like through this program and growing as an entrepreneur, and like knowing how the world actually works, and knowing that a product wouldn't be successful unless the people actually want it. So finding that product market fit is really, really important.
Helping our product be reborn multiple times.
Awesome, cool. Well, thank you so much for your feedback. And like I can just really personally say I'm very impressed with how well both of you guys teams have been executing in the past, and both of you guys have a real hustler mentality here. I remember like waking up to emails or Slack messages 7 a.m. in the morning on a Sunday. It sounds like you guys are really always going for it, and it really pays off. I mean, you guys are invited to pitch to Silicon Valley's top-notch investors on October 29th in Silicon Valley. So I think being one of the 22 top teams sourced from 52 countries, that's definitely a very, very good seal for you guys, and something that you should definitely be proud of. Let's talk about Global Demo Day, which is coming up October 29th, as I just previously mentioned. Team Montreal, what are you guys trying to get out of Global Demo Day? Are you guys looking for investment? Are you guys looking to engage with potential business partners? What are you guys thinking on getting out of there?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of things. First of all, having validation in the local market is valuable, but validation on an international level, it's I mean, not just Montreal, not just Quebec, not just Canada, but also in the US, would be awesome.
Yeah, and more than that, like meeting with people coming from Y Combinator and Techstars, they know how startups have actually grown from just like a really small project to an actually $1 billion company. Meeting with those people and growing our network there, like that's something what I think is like what I'll actually get out of Demo Day. Investment is something like I can't really worry about that right now, because if I get investment, that's good, and if I don't, like even then it's fine, and we'll just continue with what we are doing right now. So going out there and like conveying what we actually do is something like what we are planning to do really well right now. And once we execute that, then like getting contacts with people from the different incubators and accelerators, that is something really important.
Would like to focus on that, making the perfect pitch, and hopefully investment will come after.
Yeah, don't worry about that part. So once you guys fly in on Sunday the 25th, I believe, from Monday morning from Monday 9 a.m. to pretty much right when you go on stage, we will give you hands-on pitch training. We have mentorship sessions. We invite all kinds of C-level executives that help you, like refine your pitch. And we probably tear your pitch apart, being honest with you, but that's a good thing, because we really want to get you guys ready to go on stage in front of an audience of I think 350 or 400 people to showcase your product at its best. So don't worry about that portion for now. For now, I think it's really just about building out the product and getting as many B2B customers on board as you guys possibly can. Cool. Social Capital from San Francisco. What is your guys' strategy and game plan for the Global Demo Day and for Silicon Valley Week?
I can't tell you the game plan, but I can't tell you what the goal is. Our plan is to make positive connections with the startup community. You know, we have a platform to showcase what we've been working on for the past 10 weeks. We hope to make a positive, collision with investors, accelerator programs. We just want to get as many people involved as possible, show people what we've been working on, get their feedback from it. Of course, we're looking for investment, but accelerator programs, a second accelerator program is definitely within the realm of possibility as well.
Yeah, I think the networking quality will be extremely high. Just to give everybody here on this live stream a little sense of who we have here as a judge for our Global Demo Day on October 29th. We got Michael Siebel from Y Combinator, who sold his previous company SocialCam to Autodesk for about $60 million. We got Kat Manilak, who's also a partner at Y Combinator. So both of those guys, they actually make investment decisions at YC, which is the world's most renovated startup accelerator out there. We have Jenny Fielding, who's managing director at Techstars. We got Ed Spiegel, who is an entrepreneur in residence at 500 Startups. So we got all the big guys from the accelerator side. But not only that, we also have Ben Parr, the legend and author of Captivology, also partner at Dominate Fund. And we got Eric Moore, who is a managing director at Base Ventures and one of the first investors in Zappos that Tony Hsieh then sold to Amazon for about $1.1 billion. We also got Kerry Goham, the head of small business banking at Capital One. And we got Joseph Y, managing director at Lab 360, who will give up to $100,000 to one of our IoT and hardware teams. So it's going to be very exciting. The pressure is on, and we really can't wait to have you guys participating in Silicon Valley Week and get you guys prepped for going on stage up there. So it's going to be very exciting. And for everybody out there on this live stream who wants to join this conversation and learn more about how we accelerate teams from pretty much concept stage to a viable business that can go out there and pitch in Silicon Valley, tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific time. We will announce everything on Twitter. Make sure to follow us at AngelHack and use the hashtag Accelerator15 to tweet any kind of questions that you guys might have, and we will answer it right after we're done with this session. Cool. Back to Montreal. We have about 15 minutes left on this live stream today. I really want to talk to you guys a little bit more about what was the best BizCollab story in your experience so far that demonstrates why your product is important and necessary. Was there any moment out there where you guys were like, oh wow, shit, this is exactly what we have to build. This is 100% validation from a potential customer. What was your number one favorite experience?
So there was this one business which was for a pharmacy itself, and their biggest problem was getting the finances up to date, because again, the person had this one problem that they were more they had more expertise in science and more technical stuff, but they had no expertise in finance or taxation or any of those sectors itself. So we helped them. We were in contact with another company called Temp CFO, which offers accounting services and taxation to some of the bigger players in the market as well, like Slack, and I guess they were I think Airbnb was there, but I'm not really sure. But Slack was definitely one of their clients. And
the unicorns.
Sorry?
I said the unicorn businesses out there.
Yeah.
Sounds like Temp CFO is a huge deal for you guys.
Yeah. So they are a pretty huge deal. So we asked that pharmacy, we asked them to contact Temp CFO through our app, and they did that, and they seemed pretty satisfied through that. So I guess our product worked with them really well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Just 10 weeks after you guys started building out your MVP, you already have a huge client on the supply side and a very happy customer on the demand side on your platform. So that's awesome. Social Capital in San Francisco. What is your favorite Social Capital story that really brought you guys to a point where you guys were like, oh wow, this is awesome what we just did and what we built?
Well, it's sort of a personal story. My mother has a small nursing company in Houston, Texas, and where she hires about 4 people, a staff of 4 people, her friend and 2 administrative assistants that she probably found on Craigslist, right? So everybody knows Craigslist is, you never know what you're gonna get on Craigslist, right? So here I am, my mother doesn't even know how to use Craigslist. I put up the post, right? So I help her put a post up, and she's been doing this for probably 5 years, and there's a high turnover rate because a lot of times these people, they don't really, they're just folks on the internet, trying to find a paycheck, right? They don't really have a great interest in necessarily what it is they're doing. They just want to find a check. So
Right.
working within this, and my mother calls me again, like, oh, another one quit, and I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go again, right? But we're in the middle of this project, and I'm like, wait a minute, this time around, let's apply social capital. Let's plug their names in. Let's pick the best ones, put their names into the system, and see what we get back. And using that, we've been able to find a new assistant. Her name is Ibania. My mother's extremely satisfied with her. She calls me and compliments her all the time. I haven't met her in person yet, but I social capital score. So I think it's been very helpful. I get the feedback I get from my mother is that this woman is not only competent in the work that she's doing, but she's also a pleasant person to be around because it's, like I said, it's a small team. They see each other for 8 hours every single day, and that's when social capital becomes very important when you're dealing with small.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wow, that's an amazing story. You guys should definitely share that in conversations when you talk to investors and guys from YC 500 startups and stuff. I think that's a very catchy story, and it really demonstrates and validates the product and validates that it works. So that's awesome. Have you guys seen yourself doing this 5 years ago, like going to a hackathon and ending up with starting a startup?
Well, no, actually. Actually, I think at the day of the hackathon, I mean, we were just going to have fun, and I think it was just, for us, it's been great, just being able to have this opportunity, to be able to build something and work together. I mean, we've learned a lot about each other, and we've been doing our own social capital analysis on each other, trying to figure out his behavior type, his personality type, and how that fits with me. And I think it's great because we're two different people, but we found a way to really work together. And I think really understanding each other's personality and each other's behavior was key, right? So we knew that, hey, this guy, he works in a completely different way than I do, but this is a way that we can actually work together. This is the way I can communicate to him. And I think that was very effective for us. So.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, you guys must have learned a lot about each other.
Oh, yeah.
Probably put your own social.
Everybody we meet, we're constantly analyzing.
I bet I do have a profile on Social Capital too, huh?
We're recording him, I'm telling you.
You're coming at me. Cool. All right, team BizCollab from Montreal. For you guys, I remember you guys are a super international team. Do you guys want to tell the viewers today, how international you actually are? You guys won the San Francisco hackathon, but you're based in Montreal. Part of you guys, and just tell me a little bit more about how international you are.
Yeah. So my hackathon team, with whom I won the hackathon itself, was a bit different from my current team right now because two of our teammates had to leave because of personal reasons. So when we won the hackathon, one of us was from Lebanon, the other one was from Pakistan, one of them was from China, and there was another guy who was from India, but he lived in Silicon Valley. So we had people coming in from all different countries, and then two of the guys left, the one from Lebanon and China, and the other two guys who joined in, Andy is from Indonesia, and he lived in Dubai, and my roommate Mirza, he's from Pakistan as well, and I'm from Pakistan, and we have the other guy, the Indian guy from Silicon Valley as well. And we're based in Montreal, but we won a hackathon in San Francisco. So.
How many different countries is that?
I know, right? I totally lost track now. But I think it's at least 4 with the current team.
More than 4, definitely.
Oh, that's super
so far.
You say what?
More than 4 so far.
Do you guys see any challenges with that, or did you guys have any challenge? Did you guys experience any challenges with being such an international team, or was it just go, ship the product, build, and scale it up?
For us itself, I knew Andy and Mirza from a long time back because it's been 2 years I was at McGill, and both of these were my colleagues at McGill. So I was studying with. I took quite a couple of courses with them. So we had a pretty good understanding before joining in the team as well. As for Amit, who is in Silicon Valley, I was with him for a summer academy in California. So while we were coming into the hackathon, like Amit and me spent like 2 months together, like for a long time. So we understood each other pretty well by that time. So it wasn't that hard to like communicate with each other, and like fortunately, it has been like really good overall. Like we didn't really have any issues around that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like especially when you work across time zones, you know, you really have to, you know, like trust each other and be able to rely on each other if you want to get certain tasks done. We at AngelHack, we work in a very similar way. I remember when I was waking up in Bali, people in San Francisco were going to sleep, and then you wake up in, I don't know, Singapore at 2 a.m. because you have a very important conference call with people on the East Coast. So yeah, it's you know, it's definitely a challenge to coordinate all of that across time zones. But again, you know, I'm super proud of you for making you guys to make it that far. And you know, again, I can't wait for you guys to actually pitch on Global Demo Day and tell everybody the stories that you guys had. And it's definitely going to be a fun one for sure. Which actually brings me to my last question. So we had two questions from our audience on Twitter coming in. BizCollab, first one is for you. Somebody was wondering if it would cost a business to have a listing on BizCollab or to actually join the platform of BizCollab. How does it work?
It doesn't really cost anything for a business to join BizCollab. Like you just make an account, and once you make a profile there, you list down the services that you are offering, and you also list out the services that you need help with, or any other sectors in your business that you need help with. And that's pretty much it. And what we do after that is like we process that information. We take out your services that you're offering and what you need help with, and we put that in our search. And whenever other businesses use the app itself and they search for other businesses, so for example, if I write like legal services, then all the businesses which have shown that they are offering legal services, they would show up right on the business itself. So you don't have to pay anything. Like the only part where you actually have to pay is when you're taking the service from another company. So you're not paying us in any way. Like you don't have to pay to be on the platform. So it's like free advertising for you.
Awesome, thank you, Aaron. That's super helpful. So to everybody out there, if you guys want to join BizCollab, go to bizcollab.com. Is that right, Aaron?
Yeah, it's bizcollab.weebly.com.
Oh. BizCollab.vp.com. Go on there, sign up. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost nothing, and it can only help you to engage with other small businesses in the area, or in the US, or in Canada, or wherever in this world. And just definitely give it a shot. And if you have any feedback, any questions or comments, feel free to either tweet at AngelHack or tweet at BizCollab using the hashtag Accelerator15. Thanks, guys. SocialCapital, we have a question for you as well. Somebody on Twitter was wondering, do you think people would consider SocialCapital invasive to potential employees' privacy? I'm sure this is something that you guys thought about before.
Well, actually, if you think about it, employers, they do background checks, they do credit checks. I mean, they're about to make a big investment into employees. So, you know, if typically, you know, with this kind of thing, and as I mentioned before, employers actually do this kind of check already, right? So they're actually going on your LinkedIn, they're going on your Facebook, they're going on your Twitter. Anything that's publicly available is accessible to employers. So, you know, this type of information is something that employers, you know, they're interested in. You know, this is something that, as Toke mentioned, you know, if they're spending 8 hours a day with someone, this company is spending so much money in terms of salary and actually hiring, you know, it's a process where it's, you know, it is an involved process. So for us, you know, we try to stick to the guidelines in terms of what's allowable. And you know, I think again, we're just really trying to automate the process that employers are currently doing. So yeah.
So as Obed said, we're leveraging publicly available data. For the most part, we're not showing them drunk pictures of you. It's really more about, you know, are you going to be a great salesman or not? Mm-hmm. How great of a salesman are you going to be? Yeah. Things like that. There are some laws regarding this, Fair Credit Reporting Act, which basically just says whatever report has to be true, right? So of course we're sticking to those guidelines, but we do get that question a lot, the privacy question. If you make it publicly available, then it's publicly available. I mean, we're not the only there. I'm sure there are tons of companies out there leveraging your data without your knowledge.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not a if it's private data, we don't touch that. If it's publicly available, that's what we use.
Yeah, and just to touch, he brought up a good point, right? So we're not actually looking at negative things. It's everybody, you have fun, you party. We're actually trying to identify the behavior type. How does this person really fit into a company? Because everybody has a different personality type, a different behavior type. What type of behavior does this person have, and how do they fit into a company? So we don't actually, we don't focus on like anything that's negative. We just focus on what kind of person this person is, and how is that relevant to a company.
And that's why we have the capital, because it actually can be a great boost for a person who may not have a ton of experience, but may be the perfect personality type for that job. So it actually can be a great boost for you in order to get a job. So it's not, we're definitely, if somebody looked at my history, I'm sure there may be some things in the past that I may not be proud of, but if they look at my social capital score, I'm sure they would hire me.
And just to add to that, everybody has a different behavior. Everybody has a different personality. One thing that we actually spoke about earlier today is that, good employers, good managers find a way to find value in any type of employee, right? So anybody can be an asset to a company. You just have to really find out, how does this person fit into this company? What can they bring to this table, and what can they bring that's different that we don't currently have? So we try to help employers find value from candidates that they probably wouldn't typically be able to find. So.
Right. No, I think that's a super interesting take on HR, and I think it really was about time to value all kinds of other things and really like try to really deeply assess potential employer candidates, because as you said, there might be so much potential, like aside from just the blank resume or even your LinkedIn profile and stuff like that. And team dynamics are very important. And I remember there's studies on that where the team is way more important, how it works together, than the actual expertise of the individuals. And I think that's it's a great solution for you guys. And I'm super excited to have both of you guys, both of your teams pitching on October 29th at Global Demo Day. Cool. Well, we are almost done. Is there anything that you guys any last words that you guys want to leave the viewers with?
Yeah, I'd say if anyone is looking to try out the product, you can go to SocialCapital.io. If there's any employers that would like to pilot, we have a private pilot going on now. So if any employer is looking to do that, you can go ahead and actually contact either Tope or I, and we can actually help you go through that process and help you with this solution. So you can visit SocialCapital.io. And again, my name is Obed Eugene, and this is Temi Tope Alibi.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks, guys. We will definitely make sure to feature you guys on our Twitter as well. So everybody out there, check out SocialCapital.io and give them feedback. Sign up for their private beta. And I'm sure it's going to be a valuable experience to both individuals and employers. Thanks, guys. Team Montreal, BizCollab. Any closing remarks from you guys? Sorry.
Follow us on Twitter, and we will be updating about our iOS app. It's done right now, and we've tested it with some people, so we will be releasing it out in the market. So keep following us and look for any updates that we make, and we will probably be on Product Hunt as well by the end of next week. So if you want to try out our product and list your business on there, so definitely just keep looking out for us.
Like us on Facebook.
So that's at BizCollab, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, all the viewers out there at BizCollab, follow them on Twitter, check out bizcollab.vp.com, and also check out SocialCapital.io. Both of them are two of our best performing teams that we sourced from our international hackathon competitions that we had in 52 countries this spring, and those guys will be pitching to investors, so make sure to follow them on their journey to Silicon Valley and potentially being a billion-dollar company. Cool. Well, thanks, everybody. I hope to see you guys next time around, next Wednesday at either 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific time, where we showcase two of our best performing startups before our global demo day on October 29th. Follow us on Twitter at AngelHack and tweet us questions, comments, any kind of feedback using the hashtag Accelerator 15. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.